Good evening, class. Welcome to my Screenomatic vlog for you guys. Today we're going to discuss a learning lab that we will eventually be doing together in class, but I just wanted to give you a rundown of what it will be and what it pertains to. Today's learning lab is given to us by not only the Smithsonian Museum, but as well as the National Museum of National American History and Culture, as we can see here. This is all about becoming a historian. One of the main things about being a historian is about historical context. That is how we practice and interpret history, which is such an amazing and important skill to anybody. But as I said, again, amazing. It is really hard to do this. It is really hard to critically think like this. It is really hard to analyze and then, digest about what you had just, information you just gained, and then regurgitate a idea and or your own opinions. But that's also what I love, and what many people would love about history, is that history is taught in the sense that there are always a right answer. Always. Dates, names. That's really what most history classes are about. But it's more than that. It's nobody can really say what happened or how people felt in the past. And that's where we come in to then take what we know, take what we find, and then develop that and have our own thoughts about what had happened. Because we don't have enough to go on to say for sure that this happened. I mean, big things, pictures, yes, but like individuals, we have only so much. And we come in to finish that final piece of what could have been. And it's amazing. Anyway, so with this learning lab, the description goes into, as I just said, how we're going to practice and interpret history with historical context. We're going to learn how to develop these skills to become better historians, because history is cool. It'll define historical context and how we can practice it and then employ that strategy into the real world. And the one example that we will be discussing is the 1968 Poor People's Campaign, which was a very hefty part in American history. Historical context is background information that informs deeper understanding of a historical individual, group, or event. As I said, there's only so much that we are given about either individuals, groups, or events that we come in to finish that last piece of they did this because of what you think. And again, and it teaches us how to analyze the past more accurately. Our learning objective, as I said before, is how we evaluate various cause of events and developments in the past, and then take that to interpret pretty much why they happened or why they could have happened. And again, no right or wrong answer, which I know some people hate, but that's what we're going to do. So these are all the standards that are going through if you're interested, because it is important that we are covering all of this, which is good. Excuse me. Classify the kinds of historical sources used in secondary interpretation, which is really important as a historian to differentiate your primary sources and secondary sources, because there's a huge difference, as we should know. Primary sources are a first person basis, hence they're called primary, which means it is either from that time period we were talking about or an actual eyewitness report of what we're talking about, or like a diary entry of what one person or what one group of people was going through. Now, on the other hand, we have secondary sources, which is what we do as historians, which is what we'll be reading other historians' work. So eventually, if you all want to become historians in the future, your work, your books, your articles, your scholarly journals will then be used as secondary sources for students, for people, for other historians everywhere. Secondary sources is our interpretation of what we think went on, why it happened, what caused it, all of that stuff. So we will go into this in part 2.